Looking for a lot of luck because he's going to be in the back half of the field, but he's going to be very strong to the line. So I certainly wouldn't not put him into my wider exotics because you're looking for these run-home dogs when there's a lot of pace in the race. And Paul Kwan really hit the line, broke 30 seconds. He's done everything right to qualify. So certainly one for wider exotic players. He's going around at a big price, but he's not without a blowout winning hope.
Okay, so for those on Sky Racing 1, Nath is taking on some of these favourites up the top end of the market. And the first one we're going to mention, Nath, is Iconic Jet. His form in Western Australia was very good. However, when he's gone to South Australia for the Derby, he's trialled really well and he hasn't backed up those same sort of numbers in a race. The same thing has happened here at the Meadows. He trialled well. He just didn't seem to run it out as well as what he can last Saturday night in his heat. So what are we going to get from him tonight?
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to see. As you touched on, his South Australian run, he trialled 30 and 26, and then he let up and got run down in 30 and 60 in a heat of the South Australian Derby and done very similar in the final. He come to the Meadows and trialled 29 and 56 and run through the line quite strongly on race night. He was able to lead and hold on and win in 29 and 89, but got very tired late. Now, he's not doing that in Western Australia, but when the dog travels interstate, he seems to be knocking up on his runs. I don't know if it's a kennel problem where he gets a little bit overexcited in the kennel and just uses a bit of nervous energy, but I just think in a race of this quality, you can't be knocking up if you're in front because there's some high quality greyhounds in behind you that are going to be chasing you, and I just think he might be a slight risk at the quote, being away from home and being a little bit suspect late.
This is an unbelievable market. We've got a new favourite. It is number 2, Deadly Avenger. And the 4 behind him, Giacomo, Paul Vortex, Iconic Jet, Epitomise, all $5. Deadly Avenger's a new favourite, Nath. You've got him on top. Why do you like him?
Well, I thought he was quite good last week in breaking 30 seconds off a wide draw. He found a little bit of interference approaching the 600-metre boxes, still was able to pick himself up and win. I think the near rails draw is perfect for this greyhound. He has run fast times, 29.07 from box 2 at Sandown in a Melbourne Cup prelude. He was only beaten a length to Big Energy in 29 and 20 in a Melbourne Cup heat. He had no luck behind Smooth Plane in a group listed race there on Melbourne Cup night. So I think coming back to his own age restriction, drawn near the fence, I can see why the market's gravitated towards him. If he can get himself on speed, hold that spot, I think he's awfully hard to beat.
All right, let's get through a few others at the top end of the market here. Giacomo, number 1, or Giacomo, we want to call him, named in honour of the great Simon Prestigiacomo. He's got box 1, he's got speed. You don't like him, why not?
Well, I do like him. I'd like to have a part of him.
I'm not talking personally. I'm talking about his form, Nathan, the Silver Chief.
I think he's under the odds here. I don't think he's a genuine, strong 525-metre dog. He'll need to get a lead and clear out a little bit. I think there's a lot stronger dogs than him in this race, and I don't think he can really pinch a margin that warrants him hanging on at that $5 quote.
We spoke about Paul Vortex on Sky Active. He'll jump from box 4, and he comes into this race with a picket fence, but he's not sort of at the top end of the agenda when people speak about winning chances in this Silver Chief final. Are we underestimating the form he's in at the moment?
Yeah, he's in really good form. He's been racing against some of the high-quality dogs of Victoria and beating them. He's got to overcome box 4, which is most probably why he's at a backable price, but he is racing very well, and he must be respected in a race of this quality and class.
Epitomise from the pink is one I like. He's got brutal early speed. What does box 8 mean for him, where there's a lot of other speed underneath him as well?
Yeah, it's awfully hard off wide draws around these 2-turn circuits in group races to get around. He's going to rely on a dog like Iconic Jet leading and dragging him into the race. We've seen him handle wide draws quite well of recent times, but he'll need to be on his best box manners and hopefully can get outside of the speed in the early stages to cause somewhat of a minor upset.
So Deadly Avenger has got out to as long as $4.40 this afternoon. He's now $3.90, and you're on top selection.
Yeah, 2, 4, 5 and 8. I went Deadly Avenger purely on box draw and the way he's been racing against high-quality opposition through the Melbourne Cup Carnival. Paul Vortex got a picket fence. He must be respected. Put him in for second. 5, Paul Kwan is going around at $21. He's a get-back run-home dog. He might be flashing late. 1 for exotic players. And 8, Epitomise, can handle a wide draw, would need to be on his best box manners. 2, 4, 5 and 8 for the Silver Chief final.
The Group 1 Silver Chief final for 2024. And let's get up to one of the voices of Australian greyhound racing, James Vandermart.
It's one of these canines in one of the great races, the Silver Chief. They're getting set now. Favourites in box 2, Deadly Avenger, firms up to $3.90 as the reserve gets a start. Paul Wright going into box 3 alongside. They're just about set. This is the Group 1 Silver Chief. Stand by for a jump. The green light on. Favourites in box 2, Deadly Avenger. They're set. And they're racing, and Deadly Avenger away quickly. He's going to drive through, out fast, Epitomise from the outside. And Epitomise came hurtling across to take the lead from Giacomo up to third, Deadly Avenger. 3 lengths away then to Poor Vortex, getting past now Iconic Jet. And then Poor Ike with Poor Kwan and Raven Peter at the end. Down the back, it's Epitomise off the rail and Deadly Avenger. They're 4 lengths in front to Giacomo. It's Epitomise as they turn a length, Deadly Avenger. It is high speed perfection. Epitomise has won the Silver Chief by a half to Deadly Avenger, third to Giacomo, then Poor Kwan from Poor Vortex, and the last few in, Poor Ike back at the end with Iconic Jet. And one at the last to clock in, Poor Kwan, the time around 29.76, and it's Epitomise in the Silver Chief.
He was a Melbourne Cup finalist. He found hard luck. Brad Greeno, Epitomise, a Group 1 winner. How good's that?
It's a surreal feeling, mate. He absolutely deserves it, that dog. You know, he's put in, his heat win was a massive win. I knew he could run the time. I knew that wasn't an issue. I liked him out wide. I thought he could get across, and he did that, mate. I was very, very proud of him. Yeah.
And it's a different element to him, is it, as well? We've known him for a lot of his career. It's been high speed, but lately he's working a bit harder. He's turning into a more complete package.
He is, mate. He's just sort of clicking that next gear, isn't he? So, I mean, his run-home time speaks for itself, doesn't it? You know, it's just sort of all coming together for him. Yeah.
And what about for you personally, mate? To pick up a Group 1, of course, with the grandson of the great Cal Greeno. How proud are you of yourself for getting this Group 1 win?
I don't want to bump myself up too much, mate, but it's a life dream to win a Group 1. That's what I've always wanted. So it's a surreal feeling, mate. Thanks.
What about sharing this moment as well with Greg Sprott, of course, the owner of Epitomise? You've had a lot of success with him and your family, of course, with Wow She's Fast, and they're great investors in the sport, but particularly the kennel and you. Yeah,
well, we owe everything to them, Jason, so they've given us everything and they treat us very well. So, I mean, this is the least we can give them, I suppose, isn't it?
Well, he's a star, mate, and you're a Group 1 winning trainer. Congratulations.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Brad Greeno there, Nathan, that was good. Epitomise, he had to work hard. He did, so he is turning into a serious sprinter.
After race number 9.
Track, but the speed he showed tonight in a high quality Group 1 Silver Chief to get over comfortably off box 8, 5:02 early, and then lit up that back section, 17:55 up the back. Now, put that in comparison, that's where smooth playing was at, and then he was able to still post 29.75 and fend off Deadly Avenger, who was punching underneath him the whole way, but just the early speed of Epitomise to the forefront. It's not easy to get across off these wide draws around the 2-turn tracks, but he made light work of it. That was nearly the best we've seen him begin since the Melbourne Cup heat, where he ran 4.97 off a middle pin draw. What he has been able to do, Jace, is race truly. I know you're in his camp. He handles middle to wide draws so well. He wanted to get off in that Melbourne Cup final, but the way he got across off the pink 5:02, blistering early speed in what a race that was jam-packed full of early speed drawn closer to the fence. He made light work of that wide draw.
Yeah, he did. And look, when greyhounds get to this sort of level, and we've seen him go through a Melbourne Cup series, we're always going to mark him harshly. It's like any footy player, whether it's Nick Dacos and people being critical of him racking up his disposals, they're still getting on in their career. I mean, Epitomise tonight is just his 11th start. So he's still improving, and sometimes that's a throwaway line for greyhounds who are young and doing good things. Sometimes they just don't go on to improve. But this boy is. I don't think he's gaining any ability. We're not learning more about how fast he is, but he's picking up race sense, which is so important to converting your ability to a really good career.
Yeah, the race sense is the key, isn't it? We've seen him off box 5 last week, and the heat time wasn't great compared to the rest of the winners. 30 and 11, he had box 5, he got a clear run, he said outside the speed, and he was workmanlike, we said, in putting him away. But what he was able to do tonight was hit the lids, run a straight line from box 8, carve over 5:02, run 17:55 up the back. And like I touched on, that's smooth playing like up the back. That's as quick as they're going to go up the back. And then he had to still fend off Deadly Avenger, who was punching up the fence underneath him in the run to the line. And what really come to the forefront when I watched that race is, as you touched on, Epitomise out of the Melbourne Cup. Deadly Avenger was pretty stiff not to be in the Melbourne Cup. He was only beaten 1.25 to Big Energy. He did post 29.07. These couple of runners have been racing at a much higher level than this age-restricted Group 1 event. And I think that come to the forefront there. They've run 29.75. They've really singled out in the run from the catching pen to the winning post. And it was a race for the ages. Take nothing away from the runner-up, Deadly Avenger. He done everything he could.
He was superb,
began,
wasn't he?
Punched up. He just had one that he was chasing. That was just a bit quicker and rolling. And I thought Giacomo was quite good into to third as well. I thought he was under the price. He wasn't able to lead, but I thought he boxed on quite well. He was no match for the winner and the runner-up, but I thought he was quite a good run. But epitomised, he's won a 300-metre feature event up the straight, the Highway 31, to kick off his campaign. He's then stepped up, won the Great Chase, which is a Group 3 race here at the Meadows. He's then gone on to a Melbourne Cup, and then now he's won a Silver Chief final. So he's certainly got a nice CV through a dozen starts, doesn't he?
He does, and it's not a position that many greyhounds find themselves in after 11 starts. He's a Great Chase winner, a Melbourne Cup finalist, and a Group 1 Silver Chief winner. That is unbelievable. And we spoke about the greyhounds earlier on in tonight's card, and it was early on in that specific greyhound's career, and last week was in a heat of the Silver Chief, and what we said was it was a fair indication of the confidence that the trainer had in that greyhound to go straight into a big series. This is what epitomises makeup is for the Greenos, and Brad, which we'll speak about shortly, to throw him into this deep end at such an early part of his career says a lot about the belief they have in him.
Yeah, well, they know the ability he's got, and all he needs to do is learn to race, and he's a smart greyhound. He wanted to get off under a little bit of pressure in that Melbourne Cup race, but I think he's better suited middle to wide, Jace. He handles that run to the corner a lot better because he runs in a straight line. He likes building momentum, using that devastating turn of foot that he's got. Most young greyhounds, you just want to get down to the fence, you know. They're just that keen. They come out and they just want to push down, push down, push down. He doesn't have that trait. He's happy to run in a straight line, build the momentum, and then carve over at the corner. And takes a lot to win around the Meadows or Sandown off a wide draw in a stock standard 5th grade, let alone
Definitely.
a Group 1, and to run 5:02, 17:55 on a night like tonight, that was a real making of a future star of the game.
And it's that sort of series, isn't it, the Silver Chief? I mean, you go through it and there's a lot of young greyhounds who have peaked at the early part of their career, and there's some who have gone on to do some really good things, and no bigger name in recent time than Simon Told Helen. You get that feeling with Epitomise. This isn't a purple patch. This isn't him hitting this series at the right time. This is a really, really good career in the making.
It's just the launch of a career, isn't it? He's in August 22 whelping, so, you know, he's just over 2 years of age. He's only had the 11 starts. You can nearly put a line through his first couple of starts because they were 300 in a Highway 31 up the straight. They were only blowing a candle out run. It's just a nice maiden for him to kick off, and then he really stepped up and took care of business in a Great Chase. He had favourable draws through that series, but I think what he did through the Melbourne Cup Carnival was first class, and then what he's been able to produce on the big stage here tonight in a Silver Chief Group 1 event was most probably the making of him to really launch a really, you know, high quality career in the next 6 to 12 months moving forward.
Speaking about making careers and launching careers, Brad Greeno. It's his first Group 1 win tonight. He obviously comes from royal bloodlines, and I mean, if he wanted to go in this direction, he was going to, and he was going to be able to get the tool to do it successfully, and that's what he's done. And look, I sort of knew Brad a little bit going back maybe 6-7 years ago, back when the likes of Offing Imitated were racing, and he was sort of in around the scene then. And then he sort of disappeared for a while. And now he's back. He's taken a turn to invest his time and start a career in greyhound racing. So for him to pick up his first Group 1 and see what it meant to him post-race as well, that's going to launch his career as well. I mean, he's going to take the reins from his grandparents sooner or later. Yeah,
and they're big reins to take, aren't they? And it's wonderful that he was, as you touched on, around it, and then he got away. He enjoyed what he had to do. He lived his life, and then he's come.
You're right, because there's people out there who their parents could possibly say, well, we need help, so you need to give us help, and therefore you don't have an option. But for Brad to go out, build a different skill set, I think he was doing a trade of some sort, but to come back to the game now and pour his time into it.
Yeah, and he'll reap the rewards, and what great masters he's got, you know. He's got an encyclopedia in his family just to
no shortage of tools, that's for sure.
Yeah, he can ask any question, and no doubt, you know, Kel and Jackie are letting him make mistakes as well as guiding him down the right path. But he's got he's got some nice quality dogs to work with, and he's doing a wonderful job with them. And he's having a great run, and it won't be his first group winner, and it certainly won't be the last that we see of Brad Greeno moving forward. He's in a real rich vein of form. He's got a really good kennel, and we've seen that a few months back on Pink Diamond Night. He produced some fast maidens, was able to take care of business there. He went, 2 from 2, 3 from 3, I think.
3 from 3,
Three from 3, and epitomised wasn't one of them, you know. And so it shows you the quality that he's got stock-wise, and he's placing them well. And as you mentioned, Kel and Jackie are certainly putting him down the right path with some really